Today we will be discussing some of the key concepts in plant pathology, which is very important moving forward, lalo na kapag pinag-aaralan na natin yung mga different concepts about disease development and other key models sa plant pathology. So the first one would be pathogens and parasites. How do we define a pathogen and a parasite? And what are the differences between the two? So a pathogen is this is actually a combination of two words, which is pathos and agent. A pathogen is any living, so this one is very important, or biotic agent that causes a disease. So again, it is a living or biotic agent na nagkukos ng mga sakit. Whereas a parasite naman is an organism that depends on another organism for its food. So, mahalaga yung distinction na yon. A pathogen will always cause a disease. Ito yung keyword dyan. Whereas ang parasite is only depending. Okay? The parasite is an organism that only is depending on another organism for its nutrition or to be able to live. The question now is a pathogen always a parasite? So itong mga biotic agent daw ba na nagkukos ng disease is always a parasite? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Kasi a pathogen will not complete its life cycle, or basically hindi siya mabubuhay without depending on another organism. So a pathogen will cause a disease to another organism and at the same time parasitize it. Okay? It will depend on it to live, at the same time nagkukos pa siya ng disease. Second question, is a parasite always a pathogen? Now, you can pause the video and think about it kung tama ba yung statement na to. Is a parasite always a pathogen? The answer is no. Why? Because some organisms will depend on another organism without causing a disease. A parasite can depend on an organism pero not necessarily nagkukos siya ng any symptoms or signs that will disrupt yung basic function ng halaman. Minsan, walang effect sa halaman, and minsan pa nga nagiging beneficial pa sa halaman yung pagkakaroon ng mga ganitong organism. We call it a commensal relationship. Like for example, yung certain types of mycorrhizal fungi. Diba? We know that, for instance, plants have roots. Ngayon, ang ginagawa ng mga fungi na to, babalutin nila yung roots ng halaman. Now, kapag ginawa nila yon, kumukuha sila ng nutrition from the plant. Okay? So the fungi is getting nutrition from the plant. Pero, in exchange, they are also helping the plant to get more water and nutrients from the soil. So beneficial yung kanilang relationship. Hindi nasasaktan yung halaman, bagkus both the parasite and the plant is benefiting from this kind of relationship. Okay. Now, there are two types of parasites. Okay. The first one would be an obligate parasite, which is a parasite that lives 100%. So 100% itong parasite na to, they live or they infect, tama ba yung term? They live on living organisms. 100% yan. So yun lang yung inaatake nila. Living tissues, such as your viruses, your bacteria, your fungi. So yan ang obligate parasite. Kumbaga, another way of thinking about it, they are a total parasite. Right? Ang facultative parasite naman, ito yung mga parasites that is not typically a parasite. Kasi they don't attack living tissues. Pero rather, sila ay, ito yung term na to, saprophyte. So ano ka naman kapag sinabi mong saprophyte? Ang isang organism, they live on dead organic matter. So itong facultative parasites, they initially or they would prefer na dead organic matter ang kinakain nila. Pero kapag may condition na wala silang makuhang dead organic matter, they would become parasitic and feed on living organic matter. So, nakuha? So, one way of thinking about it, facultative parasites they are like parang partial or semi-parasites, sabihin na natin. Okay? Again, kapag obligate, totally, 100%, they attack living organisms. Kapag facultative naman yung parasite natin, they are typically saprophyte, which means they eat dead organic matter, pero if the conditions is kapag walang-wala talagang dead organic matter sa area nila, they will feed on living organic matter. Okay? Now, this is important kasi meron din tayong tinatawag na facultative saprophyte. Okay? Facultative saprophyte. O ano naman to? Okay? Kung ang facultative parasite is typically a saprophyte, ang facultative saprophyte naman, initially, yan ay isang parasite. Okay? Ang facultative saprophyte, initially parasite, so kumakain siya ng living organic matter. But, pag wala na siyang makitang living, pwede siyang kumain ng dead. So, huwag kayong malito doon Ang facultative parasite, initially saprophyte siya, kumakain ng dead organic matter. Pag walang dead organic matter, ang kinakain niya, living organic matter. Ang facultative saprophyte naman, parasite siya initially. So, living ang kinakain niya initially, pero kapag walang living organic matter, pwede siyang kumain ng dead organic matter. Klaro? Klaro. Let's move forward. What is the difference between a host and a suscept? Itong two terms na to. Well, both of the term pertains to the organism that is being or can be attacked by a pathogen. Yun nga lang, pag sinabi mong host, ito yung halaman, kasi we are talking about plant pathology, ito yung halaman na inatake na mismo nung parasite or nung pathogen. Okay? So, na-attack na siya, ibig sabihin, nagpapakita na siya ng symptoms and signs itong halaman na to of disease. Ngayon, kapag sinabi mo namang suscept doesn't mean necessarily na-atake na siya or na-infect na siya ng pathogen or parasite. They are merely just susceptible, from the term susceptible, vulnerable, or they can be possibly attacked by the pathogen. Okay. So for example, itong picture na to is a kamatis na nagpapakita ng rotting or ano ba to, necrosis. I think this is rotting. So medyo mabasa-basa pa. So nagpapakita siya ng symptom of rotting. This photo, this tomato is already a host kasi it is now being attacked by a pathogen. Siguro a bacteria. Pero kapag itong kamatis na to, wala pa siyang sign or symptom, pero nasa environment siya kung saan yung environment na yun, sinusuportahan niya yung growth and colonization of a bacteria, then itong kamatis na to is a suscept. Claro? Host, it is already attacked by the pathogen. Suscept, not yet, pero they are vulnerable or they are likely to get infected by specific pathogens. Let's move forward. Ano naman tong pathogenicity and virulence? Okay? Pathogenicity is the capacity of an organism to cause a disease. So basically, ang sinasagot lang natin na tanong sa pathogenicity is yes or no. Will this pathogen, will this organism cause a disease? Yes. Kung yes, pathogenic siya. Kung no, edi non-pathogenic siya. Yun lang yun lang yung tinitignan natin dyan. Kapag sinabi mo namang virulence, this already pertains to a natural na, automatic na, na when you say an organism is virulent, pathogenic na yan. Okay? Pathogenic na siya. But we are now pertaining to the quantitative measure of the harmfulness of the pathogen. So one way of thinking about it is yung kanyang strength level. Okay? Malakas ba siya in terms of causing a disease? So kapag mataas ang kanyang virulence level, ibig sabihin nun kahit konti lang yung organism na yon doon sa halaman, it can cause significant damage doon sa halaman or it can even kill that plant. Kapag sinabi naman natin na mababa yung kanyang virulence level, ibig sabihin nun mild symptoms lang yung effect niya doon sa halaman. Klaro yung two terms na yon? Ulitin ko pathogenicity, we're only asking the question of whether an organism is pathogenic or not. Yun lang. Yes, is it pathogenic or no? Ang virulence naman, automatically, these are already pathogenic organisms. What we are measuring here is the severity or the strength or the harmfulness of this pathogen to cause a disease. Our final term would come from the how a pathogen develops or how a disease is developed. Yung term na to is pathogenesis. With the word Genesis. Saan nyo nakikita yan? Yan yung unang libro ng Biblia, di ba? Which means the beginning or the making of something. So pathogenesis is basically the making of a disease. Paano ba siya nagpo-progress? Paano siya nagde-develop? Diba? So, in an outline or in a nutshell, a pathogen would actually infect a plant. Tapos after infection, i-colonize niya yung plant. Diba? I-colonize niya yung buong halaman. After that, yung halaman na to magpapakita ng symptom or symptom development, then after which probably progression na sa ibang halaman na nasa tabi niya. Right? So these stages of disease development is what we call pathogenesis.